Welcome everyone to the Union City Municipal Authority Board of Trustees meeting December 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Town Hall 101 North Elm, Union City, Oklahoma. Chad, would you be correct, or, swing flag for us, please? Pledge allegiance. Yeah. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jim, would you prayer for us?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come here tonight and do the city's business, Lord, and we just pray that you would guide us, Father, that we'd make the right decisions for this town and all the people, and in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Rebecca, what we got?
Thomas Greger.
Present.
Ryan Dawson.
Here.
Keith Dennis.
Here.
Chad Fisher.
Here.
James Smith.
Here.
Call to order at 6 o'clock.
Consent agenda items, all matters listed under consent are considered kind of Union City Board of Trustees to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. Any Board of Trustees member may, however, remove an item from the consent agenda by request. Do I have a motion on 5A, B, C, and D?
I'll make a motion to approve agenda 5A through D.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Yes. All those in favor? Aye. Motion approved. Correspondence from citizens. Brianna O'Neill?
It's daylight for Landon.
Oh, okay.
You have the letter. Yeah, the letter. Brianna wrote the letter.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's who wrote it.
All right.
Same house.
To the Union City Board, my family and I are writing to formally dispute our recent water bill, which has suddenly risen to $500 each. This amount is not only extremely unusual for this household, it is impossible based on the way the home is used. Only two people live at the residence, my father and my aunt. My father is disabled on a fixed income, and he cannot afford a bill of this size. My father is currently on full-time dialysis, and due to his support, he rarely takes showers. Their water usage has always been extremely low, and our bills consistently fall in the $80 range. Nothing has changed in the home or in their daily routines that would justify an increase of this size. To make sure the issue was on our side, we hired a licensed plumber to inspect our property. After full inspection, there were no signs of leaks inside or outside property or home. The plumber confirmed nothing suggests excess usage or a hidden leak. Given the circumstances, the only reasonable conclusion is that something is wrong with the city's end, most likely an issue with the meter. We are requesting that the city install a new water meter and renew this billing area as soon as possible. We simply cannot pay a bill that does not reflect our actual usage. We respectfully ask the board to investigate this matter thoroughly and correct the billing to reflect the accurate consumption. We appreciate your time and attention and hope this can be resolved promptly. Thank you, Brianna O'Neill. All right. This is kind of open for discussion. This is kind of came up several days ago for me, and I've been thinking it over. I think the way that this should be handled, is if they believe there's an issue with the meter, we need to pull that meter and have it tested. If we test the meter and we're wrong, we will adjust the bill accordingly.
Okay.
If we test the meter and it's right, you pay the bill plus what it costs us to test the meter.
Okay. Can I get a payment arrangement from that if possible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. David, what does it cost us to test a meter?
$150 according to the report.
Right at 150 every time we've ever done one.
Okay.
Did you get a copy of David's report?
No, I did not.
Can I give this to her? Oh, correct.
I have.
Oh, yeah, either way, it's fine.
Thank you.
As long as she has a copy of it so she can review that.
Just example on there for everyone that's in, when we call, because when we read the meters, we go back and I try to look them over. I said, whoa, that's too much for that house or whatever.
Right.
And that's why Teresa was in there and I said, I need to call these folks, and she knew.
And she got
Brett, and she called them. And he had mentioned the toilet had been leaking
Yeah,
And,
for a couple of days back there, I guess, but,
Yeah, so it kind of blew me away after doing an example, but a total leak at 3 gallons a minute, just 3 gallons a minute, which a total leak can be anywhere from 1 to 5, 6 gallons a minute, depending on what's leaking and how bad, is 4,300 gallons a day. Wow. Just at 3 gallons a minute. There's a sheet in there that you can see that clearly shows they were using hardly anything in about, I think it was 6 to 7 days, I don't remember.
Like 10 days, November 9th.
It went way up and then it went back down, which is consistent with the leak for that. Be glad to pull the meter. They're new meters, well, I say new, kind of a running joke around here, because they're about 5 years old.
right.
When we installed them, they have a 20-year warranty, and I retired in 19 that day, so I was pretty excited that worked out. I'm out here for but I can't tell you, I'm glad to do it, but that's what you know. We've
Okay.
done like 4, and none of them's ever come back wrong.
Okay, let me speak with Lane, he just got home from dialysis, he's
Okay.
feeling really, really sick, and can I get back with you in the morning?
Sure, if that's
Is that
good with
okay with
them.
y'all?
Yeah, I mean, if y'all
Okay.
wanna.
And we put some examples, like if they choose to, whatever they choose to pay it out.
Right,
I think I did a 25 a month, a 50 a month, and then a 12 month, which is
Yeah.
33 or something like that. I don't remember.
Okay.
That's up to the board totally, but
yeah, if I could just speak with him and I'll let someone know.
I also have an hour by hour for that time, and you can clearly see water. These new meters don't have any limited mark in them.
Right, they're all digital ones.
Yeah, and the only way they can move is water going through. I've been trying to blow an air through them, it doesn't work.
Right,
So the old meters, they had a little thing there that spun when the water went through it.
right,
Potentially could mess up, but,
okay.
and I'll be glad to do it. I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I just don't want you to have to spend another $100.
I don't wanna have to either, another $150 if I don't have to, so if
Right,
I
that's
just
a-
speak with them and then just get back with you in the morning, is that okay with the board?
But
Yeah.
as long as they decide on,
If you do decide to go down that route,
Uh-huh,
I would prefer the 12-month plan, kind of stretch it out a little bit for you.
right, it'd be a lot
Give you an
easier.
additional $33 a month on top.
Okay,
Is that with the cost of the
No.
meter,
that's just what they're,
what they're behind?
yeah, if they paid I can't remember it, $133 on this month's bill,
right,
it would leave a $400 balance, and that would be at 12 months from that point,
that's
at $33.
33, right?
And y'all can do whatever, that's something I kind of come up with to help,
That sounds good,
if you need to, so.
okay.
So 33 plus the.
Whatever the
Regular
regular
bill.
bill is for that month each month. Oh, yeah, plus the feds if you add that, correct.
And then if we added, we could add the 100, if you wanted to shoot it off, it takes usually about 4 weeks.
I personally don't, but I need to ask him, and so I can,
I just did, from a personal standpoint, none of them ever came back on.
Right, I agree, so I'll just tell him.
If it's an old meter, I'd be like, hey, but.
Okay,
Okay,
well, thank you so much.
thank you, I appreciate y'all,
Have a good day.
Me too. Would raise, if she does the 150, would raise the bill to 37.50 a month, or she would.
We are not, the water billing system's not set up for that, so it may take a minute to do the workaround. We'll have to call and have them
Okay.
adjust some things.
So I need you to,
I believe you can
in
do it.
there, state that it's okay for me to start the
Okay.
payment plan,
Okay.
if that's okay.
For-
Yeah, in the
It's individual,
Yeah,
Case
just
by
for an
case.
individual, yeah.
Yeah. So we need a motion?
How do you handle these in the past?
That's what my question was.
Well,
So in my-
yeah.
Well, in my 6-year tenure, this is the first one we've had disputed at our level, so, everything else has been handled, just visiting with the city.
From like a administrative standpoint, somebody wasn't expecting the bill to go up during the summer when they're using more water and they can't pay the monthly amounts, so they've got a balance due, how do you handle that in the past?
before that happened.
There,
Go ahead.
we've never had that before.
In the
But-
past, years ago, I say years ago, but, they've been somebody that had a leak, didn't know it or something, the board let them pay it out, same way.
But it's the board that made the decision.
Correct.
What's your opinion, lawyer?
I mean, where your head's at is where I'd be recommending, which is giving an opportunity to pay out over time. It does look like, and talking with David last week, it does look like, though it was not intentional water use, the water ran through the meter, and it'd be a little bit different. The communities I've seen that have waived parts of an overage in a situation like that are ones that provide their own water. Whereas, but you're buying everything.
Yes.
Everything that runs through the meters of the properties is running through a single meter that you're dealing with.
Mhm.
So you're having to pay for it anyways. This isn't something that you would have been able to anticipate, so you do have a new business item where you could authorize staff to enter into payment agreements not to exceed X number of months paid balance due.
Don't let me forget that when we get there.
And Mayor, so we're clear, it's great to go through an agenda in the order it was drafted, but the purpose of the agenda is to let the public know what you're gonna take up, not necessarily when you'll take it up, so if you wanna do it now,
Okay.
it will go down under item 20, but you can jump to item 20 now and then come back to your agenda.
Not on municipal.
We're on the municipal, no, that's fine, municipal.
Is it not on there, that new business?
No, it's on the regular.
It's on 15.
Is it 15?
15.
It's 15.
My apologies. New
I'm
business.
saying really too, because
Okay. All right, well, jump to number 15, new business. All right, I would make the motion that we allow case-by-case just
For staff to make payment arrangements on
for
outstanding
staff to make
balances.
payment arrangements on outstanding balances.
You wanna,
Do I-
not to exceed X number of months,
Yeah, not to ever exceed a year.
12 months.
Yes.
That way,
Second?
if there was a huge
I'll
one,
second.
if there was a huge one that would take more than a year, they could bring it to you, but this would give
Yes.
staff the ability to deal with that, absolutely agree.
I have a second, all those in favor?
I'm just torn with the previous issues we've had with,
Water.
yeah. What checks and
Oh,
balances are
I would
gonna
like
be
to amend
the
that. Everything has to be approved by the mayor or vice mayor, if there's gonna be something added on.
Is that possible to do? There's a long history there, but we've had issues in the past with adjustments being done, at the employee level that shouldn't have been done.
With the approval of mayor or in the mayor's absence, vice mayor.
Yeah.
So is that your amended motion, second the amended motion?
I'll second that. Okay, all those in favor?
Is that with late fees? Or are we waiving late fees?
It's automatically
You,
gonna add
so
late fee.
you wouldn't have a late fee on the monthly, on that particular part. In other words, if the bill was $100 and they were late on, and they were late on that, that would incur a late fee, but the extra 25 would not, correct?
The way most cities handle it is dollars go to that month's bill first, and then anything in excess of that goes to the previous balance. So if it was a $100 bill normally plus $33 for the overage and they paid $100, well, they wouldn't have a late fee for that month because they paid $100. They would just have the previous balance that would have already had late fee in it. So it wouldn't get new
So,
late fee.
no late fees on what they're paying on.
Payments.
So we're waiving late fees.
Yeah, on that.
And that's case by case. The only thing I was asking for there was, you guys are still evaluating those situations case by case, making the decision and negotiating that with the individual on the 12-month plan, and then just having him, if he's not present, then having him, just approve it verbally.
Okay.
So, we'll do it. That way there's just one extra level of checking.
Email better.
Email would be better, just
Email.
because that way it's to cover your rear too, that you have, permission to do that.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. That was, man, that was like a wet gold machine. Lordy. Financial reports, number 7, the regular monthly financial reports for all funds are provided to the board of trustees for review and information by MC Treasurer Michelle Burns. At the close of business November 30th, 2025, the bank balances are as follows. Union City Municipal Authority at $759,149.60. Union City Municipal Deposit Funds at $58,113.58. Number 8, Department of Union City Water and Sewer.
Report that.
You have a report. You wanna see this one?
Everything's pretty normal, nothing, we're, as you can see, probably, so you were a little late, but you got your first water bill, should have, with the new system. I logged on and figured it out, got it paid online, it's pretty cool.
Was there any fees on there?
So if you use your checking account, it's a $1 fee. If you use a credit card, it's, 3,
3.5%.
Okay.
something like that. And then you can also do what's it called?
ACH.
Yeah, that, where it's automatic,
Automatic.
whatever day you choose. But it was a lot easier, you can see everything, if a person wanted to, they can go in and make a partial payment, or whatever the case may be, rather than just the way it, was before. With some, there's gonna be some learning curves and some hiccups, hopefully the bills are gonna be a lot quicker next month, they said, right? So,
Yeah.
Tammy's done a great job, there's a lot of training, a lot of headaches, a lot of calling meetings, ready to cry and quit, but she got it worked out, so, thank you for your hard work on that. It wasn't easy, the girls, they pitched in and watched the training and just tried to learn it too, so, everyone's on board. And I think the more we learn about it, the more we're gonna like it, the more it's gonna be user-friendly for everyone. Anyway, all tests have been fine, no problems, and any questions?
Yes, sir. Number 9, Department of City Water Clerk.
You guys have my report.
So what is your, opinion on how this has rolled in? This new system?
I think it's good. I'm still learning, so there's a lot of things that I have to go back and through the book, cause I have created a book for myself to see step by step. I've also offered it to them, so that's the next thing that we're doing is a step by step for them. There's just a lot of stuff that is different from our old software, so I'm still getting used to it, but I think I love it at this point. There's a lot of reports we can run that is really good. And then the billing software, or the billing side of it for the water bills, I think it's going to be easier if we could get those bills out faster. And I think what had happened was because Thanksgiving Day closed, they went out later. And so we're gonna get it closer to the 20th this time than later. I love it.
Alright.
On that last paragraph, you're asking for guidance on, you're calling it discrepancies, where there's accounts that show credits that were never zeroed out. When I think of credits and or, people that might have overpaid, is that what this is referring to?
It's not credits, they went in and they took the deposit and applied it to the account, but never went and zeroed it out. So it's people that have already had their checks sent out to them for their services, but never zeroed out in the accounts. And so now I'm getting every single paper that is printed with our new software, it is being charged to us. So I'm trying to minimize that where we're not getting so much charged. But I have a stack in there in my office that is several people that have credits, if you wanna call it that have never been zeroed out of the account.
So they paid a $250, or whatever the deposit is, they paid the deposit, they did business with Union City,
Yep.
they left, the check was submitted back to the individual and they left, but we're still showing that balance on there.
Right.
And most of them are real small.
Accounts to show active still, don't they, when they shouldn't be?
No, this is right.
They're
They
not
don't show active
active,
balance?
it's old final is what it's called in the new software. And then there's a new final. So it's people that recently just moved out or new finals.
Do we have proof that we sent them money back?
Yes.
I checked them. I
so-
checked them against our bank statements.
So
from
explain to
back-
me the process now, like, let's say tomorrow I leave and I want my deposit back, and then you give me that deposit, what would you then do to make sure that is zeroed?
Me,
Mhm.
so I have to go in and apply your deposit to your account, so I know how much money you're gonna get back. Go into QuickBooks at that point, create a purchase order, telling Michelle this is how much money that needs to be mailed out. She then creates the check, we scan everything into QuickBooks, so you have the proof why we're giving this money back, and then you should go in and zero that account out.
So we're at a point that all of that's done except for going in and zeroing it out.
These are like years
These
ago.
are from previous, this is before she was ever here.
And how many are there, how many of these are there? I'm just guessing, maybe like 20, like 10,
About 30 of them maybe?
30? I don't know how to instruct her to, like, it'd be nice if she could create a paper trail of the payment and put that with
Yeah.
that. This sounds like a question for, the auditor. I would like to have the auditor's opinion.
So the auditor I spoke to about
Okay.
this, he said once there's 90 days, we should no longer have these accounts. We need to create a resolution that says after 90 days, if they do not claim the money, then they forfeit it.
So, what, do you think that these weren't zeroed out because even though we sent the check, it never got cashed?
I'm not,
No,
no, it's
they
not
weren't
in cash.
connected.
Yeah, it's not, the QuickBooks and the billing software, somebody didn't go back in after they sent the check out to zero it out. So
It was
it's just
Jack's
sitting there.
program, and you had to physically go in and make it a zero.
This sounds like, and I've dealt with this in a different context, but it sounds like a potential data issue or potential data entry issue. You've got your QuickBooks, which is your ledger, but then you got another piece of software that is helping you keep track of a particular function of the government that has money coming in, money going out.
Correct.
You're having double entries here when somebody, you bill something out and somebody makes payment, you're logging in the utility billing side, but you're also logging in QuickBooks.
Right.
What I'm hearing is QuickBooks is fine. There's no issue with everything reconciling there. The issue is over here where you show money coming in, and bill, payment, closing out the account, check goes out for what is the balance in their favor, gets logged in QuickBooks, but it was never getting logged over here. That could be that it was logged in some other program that had a different code, and when they migrate the data over, it didn't recognize that code, so it didn't show it in the account, and so it was showing like there was a balance due. Or it could be that they put it in QuickBooks, the previous person put it in QuickBooks, but forgot to show over here that a check was issued. So over here, it looks like they overpaid. So it makes your actual ledger is correct.
So how old is it like here?
Yep.
Since
So-
2010?
Yeah, some of them are 15 years old, so before.
But if she zeroes those and they're saying create a resolution, she just has to notate that with each one within there, or is there no place for you to notate why you're?
I mean, one thing, and this would be a vendor question, would be if she can find the documentation that shows the check was issued, can we do it? If we can't do it, would the vendor charge us to do it, to go in and put a transaction on that account with the date on it of when we can show that the check was issued, so it clears out the balance?
I can do an adjustment. So I made them show me where the adjustments are, so I can go in and do those things without them, cause we have like we purchased 30 hours of
On the
training.
new software or in QuickBooks, this new software?
The new
right?
software, so we purchased 30 hours of training, so I'm trying to minimize that. And like, when we did the trainings, I was going through like, what do we need to do for here, and so we've minimized that.
Just pausing on where you're at. Even though we paid for 30 hours of training, I believe this board would support you. Any additional training you need to continue on, I will fight tooth and nail to make sure you get that. Don't let 30 hours of training hold you up from asking the questions that you need to ask or not getting the help you need whenever you need it because of some 30 hours of.
No, I've asked a
So-
lot of questions.
No, I know,
And the
I
lady's
don't want
like,
you to
no,
hold back on that.
absolutely. The lady's like, I don't know, let me go ask somebody else. So, I mean, I am asking all these thorough questions to make sure that I'm doing the right things that I need to and not messing up our accounting stuff or the customer's bills, cause I don't like that.
I don't have a perfect answer, 'cause I'm not in that software, so.
From my
I just
standpoint,
want-
there's
I just
no
want
action that you guys need to
Yeah.
take, because what probably needs to happen, and just for transparency purposes, is she needs to identify the ones that
That she
have an
can.
adjustment that needs to be made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Make the adjustment, document that she made the adjustment and why, that she went back, checked, a check was issued, here's the check number that was
Have the
issued.
board sign off.
Make the adjustment,
Yeah.
but I don't even know that you need the board to sign off on, because if we can verify in QuickBooks that the check was issued, this is a data correction issue over here. It doesn't involve giving anybody an actual credit that's discretionary.
If there's things you wanna show us, we can come in
I have them
tomorrow.
here.
Okay.
But she could then provide you a report of
Yeah.
the adjustments that she made. They're not adjustments that are discretionary, they're just correcting the records for
I
what
just want you
QuickBooks already
covering
showed.
your rear
Correct.
and
There's no
documenting
money
everything that you
moving
can.
Right.
Yeah.
at all
Yeah.
at this point.
Right.
It is literally a data correction.
And that way, you wouldn't have to do that kind of report, but just for transparency, here are the adjustments that are not, we're making adjustments.
Just make a report on it and make sure we see it.
The only thing that you guys would have to do is essentially, increase the amount of money available for training.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
sometimes-
which I think we're all open to do it, if that comes down to that, okay?
Okay,
So just make a report, keep a list, and then present that.
okay.
Alright. Nine A, resolution 2025-8, prorated water bills. Tell me about the prorated water bills.
You already approved it, we just need the resolution signed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Done.
No motion needed.
Are all three of these the same thing?
No.
So nine A is something they already voted on, it's just
Right.
the mayor's signature to
That is
document it.
correct, yeah.
So C and C are new.
B also,
Alright, 9B, resolution 2025-.
Last meeting, we had a water rate increase, so you're signing the resolution for 9B. We approved that in the last meeting.
That is correct.
And just for the minutes, these resolutions accurately reflect what they voted and approved.
Yes.
9%, right? No, seriously, it's 9%. 9%.
9%.
The
Oh, we thought you said 90%.
Oh,
We're like, no, it needs to be
The
100.
resolution was 90% accurate.
Yeah, it needs to be 100.
9C, resolution 2025-10 for bulk water and sewer rate increase.
And I don't know if I have.
So, this was not on there,
Yeah,
but we're bringing this back to talk, you remember?
Okay.
Because the sewer's never,
Alright,
which is our biggest money giver.
so for me, there's two parts to this, but we'll go ahead and tackle this one first.
so my question I have would be, if we went up 9%, what is that, it's just 9% of what we're paying for the water itself?
You talking about on the bill? Yeah, just the water part,
Okay.
because the trash, all the other services are different, just the water is what went up 9%.
And how much do we need to go up on the
Sewer part?
sewer part?
That's what we came back to discuss. I was recommending 5%, like, because every bill's a little bit different, you know, the sewer is calculated December, January, February, March, I think, and then, because it's low usage, and however many gallons you use, that's the average times whatever the sewer is. So, so everybody's gonna be a little bit different.
Is the new software calculating all that, or you have to go in?
No, it doesn't.
It does, okay.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I know it did, but I was, ooh, delicious. So we've never, since I've been around, never went up on sewer because of the water situation, but the sewer, for instance, if you remember, we spent $250,000 on sewer last year. So I was saying 5% roughly, is my thought, 5 to 10, whatever you guys think, because,
And how much would that raise the bill?
so the average bill looked like $15 to $20 per sewer, so, 10% of 15 is only $1.50, so, 5% would be, what, 75 cents, so.
To kind of backtrack, so when some of us first came on board, we were actually paying more for water than what we were billing as a whole. And so we had to kind of play catch up on those price increases to get us to where we were above par, and now we've tried to continue doing yearly increases to make sure that we stay above par.
Well, plus, that way I'm gonna,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm smiling because that's been an issue, except on the sewer side of Warwickers
Yeah.
for eons.
So,
They've been
but
supplementing
sewer
revenue.
is something that has never been increased, and we base that off of, water usage on the slope.
You're doing it, it's a winter average, and
Yeah.
that's what almost everybody does, because you don't have a meter on sewer, but you got a meter on water, and I.
That way you don't pay for water you already.
Want to make sure everybody was clear on what David said there, that the fact that your price goes up on water doesn't mean your sewer goes up automatically, it's not linked to that, because it's on consumption,
Yeah,
not.
and if anybody questions that increase, they need to look at what we've spent on that infrastructure just in the last 2 years. So I mean, it's been, you know,
$350,000.
$350,000 we've spent on improving that, so.
What I would encourage you guys to do is take a look back holistically, what has the cost of providing sewer been year over year for the last 10 years? Has it been going up, but the rates have not been going up, the revenue has not been going up? And at some point, you've got it tonight to talk about a one-time increase, but in the future, do you wanna have a resolution before you that would, what we did at Warwickers, what several cities have done, this isn't my idea, we just stole it from somebody else, which is like doing municipal government, see what works for other people.
Yeah.
So this resolution,
Would be to adopt an annual increase of all that. And so what we did at Warwickers was, I think it's either 3% or the CPI, forget which CPI we chose, but it would be the higher of the two, so it just baked in automatic increases. part of the reason for that is we had an increase in years, and then we had to do drastic increases, which aren't met favorably, but if you do little increases.
And I would like to see that implemented for January 1, like, that would be nice to have that, but.
Well, and so that you're clear on this, for her perspective, whatever you do tonight, or push off to January, but you need to have it before the winter average is calculated.
Right.
Then, once they calculate that winter average, it's gonna lock in the sewer rate for the next 12 months.
Yeah.
So, what you got here deals with 2026 and the first part of 27. A longer term solution then would be developed at some point before you get into 2027, so you would have to have it
So
on.
do you guys implemented in this resolution you have in front of me?
I'm not sure what you,
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt.
There's 5% of sewer.
Is there a resolution that the mayor has in front of him for 9?
I don't think there's a resolution, because you haven't, but we didn't know.
Yeah, we have, this was more,
What you got are 9A and 9B.
in my opinion, this is more of a discussion,
Okay, well,
and it needs to be
So there's
tabled
10. Okay, no, there is a resolution here for 25
on,
-10.
so that's for bulk water.
Right.
That does, it does sewer, you're right.
This ditch split up, actually, two different things.
So I've got it here, and that's what I'm asking, is it reflected in this?
I've not seen that, I didn't know there was one, because we're coming to you to find out what to make the resolution. But again,
So I think ultimately we give them what percentages we want, and then we table it, and then they come back with an actual agenda item for next meeting.
Okay.
Can we split it?
I think it needs to be split. We
It'd be
need
two different,
separate
yeah,
ones. We need one for bulk water and a separate one for sewer rate increase.
Well, last time I was not talking.
in my opinion, on the bulk water, we were at 90 cents now, it's gonna go to 10. But it's up to you guys, just to help with, because that helps keep the water rates down actually in town by.
I agree, split it and send us a new resolution.
Okay, so 10 cents, and then, do you guys like the idea of having a reoccurring 3% yearly, or 5%?
Whatever you guys.
What I was gonna decide next year, and then let's pull some of the historicals to see what the average
See where
cost
we're at.
increase is.
He's saying we may have to go one or
Deal with the
two.
short-term problem.
I think we go 5% on this first one, just because we haven't had one in so long, and it's only 75 cents per average bill. It's not,
Yeah.
Yeah, really ain't much more money, but you gotta start somewhere.
yeah. So we need 2 agenda items next meeting. One for bulk water, a separate one for sewer rate increase. I think we're requesting 10 cents, on the bulk water, and then a 5% sewer rate increase.
You can't be on the same one.
Maybe separate agenda items for next meeting.
Do you want them separate, because you wanna vote on them separately?
Oh, well, I just figured they needed to be because of the 2 completely separate.
You could throw them all into one resolution, but if there might be disagreement on one of them but not the other, then you might wanna have it split out.
She can get with you on the
Yeah.
verbiage. You can get with him on the verbiage.
You want
One or two doesn't matter, as long as we're not
for
dragging
next
it.
meeting to vote on
Yeah.
10 cents for water, or
Right.
5%,
Right.
whether it's one item or two. We can figure out the mechanics of it.
Right.
All right.
And other than that, we're tabling.
It's 10 cents a gallon, or another 1,000, yeah.
All right, number 10, Union City Municipal Authority Clerk Treasurer,
Nothing to report.
like that. Number 11, Union City Municipal Authority Human Resources.
I did have one question, though. The auditor is not here again tonight, so,
That's my fault. I asked several times so I could
Okay.
set the audit so we
Okay.
could try to pass.
okay. When are we thinking, January?
She offered January, so
Okay.
she's gonna get back with me to make sure January's okay, cause they're in tax season right
Okay.
now.
Got it. Sorry.
Human Resources Municipal.
Nothing to report,
Number 12, Union City Municipal Payroll.
nothing to report.
No executive, no adjournment, no action for executive. Any mayor trustee reports?
No.
New business is already done. Number 16, you're on, Dawson.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second that. All those in favor? Aye.
Municipal meeting adjourned at 6:33 PM.
All right.
Alright, welcome everybody to the Town of Union City Board of Trustees regular meeting, December 8, 2025, at 6:34 p.m. Do a call to order again?
Call to order
Just did the
for
call.
regular meeting is at 6:34.
Everyone's present.
Consent agenda items, all matters listed under consent are considered by the Town of Union City Board of Trustees to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. Any Board of Trustees member may, however, remove an item from the consent agenda by request. Do I have a motion for A, B, C, and D?
Make a motion to approve A through D.
I'll second.
Ryan Dawson, motion second, all those in favor? Motion approved. 6, no action. Number 7, financial reports. At the close of business, November 26, 2025, bank balances are as follows. ARPA has nothing, capital improvement bank purchase $205,368.98, capital improvement First National Bank $221,650.52. Community events at $5,942.51, federal asset forfeiture at $16,199.69, general fund $78,375.93. Reef Green is empty, state asset forfeiture at $14,448.09, street and alley at $12,630.01. Traffic bond to refund $50,035.71, Union City Police Department Community Projects at $11,824.06. Community City Dispatch at $8,616.97. Union City Fire Department $437,648.08. Union City Police Department $156,958.69. Alright, Department of Union City Code Enforcement.
Yes, sir.
Do we have the option to skip to the two
That's
individuals?
what I was, just, sorry, I was
Yeah.
reading ahead.
You're good. Just, we got 12A and 14A with speakers. We can jump to those so that they can move on for evening efficiency.
Okay. Alright, let's go to 12A. Animal call 16860 Cactus Trail. Terry Willie?
I'm Carrie. Shall I stand up?
Yes, please.
I don't know if you have a print of what I emailed in.
I did, I read it, it's in our packet, guys, it's an email that was sent to, I believe, Teresa, no, Michelle Burns. Looks like this.
So the reason I'm here tonight, really, our dog Linus was attacked and killed by our neighbor's 3 pit bull dogs on October 27th. We've been told by Union City Police that there was nothing they could do when they arrived to the scene, and when we filed the same statement with the county, they told us the same thing. There was really not a lot they could do. They both suggested that we take this up in a civil lawsuit, which we plan to do. Of course, when the incident happened, everything isn't always clear immediately, but as we put the puzzle pieces together and review the photos that we were able to take, it's very obvious, in my opinion, that the attack happened at our gate. It had just rained the night before that morning, drizzly, so it's pretty obvious the gravel and the mud was torn up in front of our gate. And from there, there's blood marks, gut pile, and then drag marks from our side of our road, from our gate over to our neighbor Don Phillips' gate, where he was then drugged into his property. Gate was closed, he was covered with a tarp. At the time, my husband comes looking outside, yelling for our dog, "Where's Linus, Linus, Linus?" And Don's outside watching Jason call for our dog. Didn't offer help, didn't say he's over here, he got injured, killed, anything. He just kept calling and calling for him. A witness drove by from the fence yard at Dale Quigley. His name is Hunter Drury, and he said, "I came around the corner, 3 pit bulls had your dog." First, let me back up and say that Jason
he saw Jason calling for lights. He said, "What are you looking for, man?" He said, "A little white dog." He said, "He's in his yard dead. I just saw 3 pit bulls attack and kill him." So when we got the statement from Hunter Drury, I told him I wanted, any information he could give me. He said, "When I pulled around the corner, the 3 pit bulls had your dog dead on your side of the street right by your gate. I got out of my truck, tried to help Dawn, my neighbor, pull the 3 pit bulls off of your dog. I said, 'Whose dog is this?' He said, 'I don't know,' which is a lie. We've lived there for 5 years, and Dawn knows our dog very well. We've known each other 5 years. So that was a lie. He just told me he didn't know who the dog was, and, thank God that we had a witness that saw what happened, because I was inside and he was inside, and neither one of us had cameras. So Dawn said, 'Your dog was on my property.' From all the evidence and my photos, everything looks like it happened on my property. All I can do is come give a statement of what I saw happen, start the process somewhere. I gave my statement to the city, I took my statement to the county, and like I said, I keep getting told, 'Sorry, ma'am, there's not a lot we can do to help you. You need to file a civil lawsuit,' which I plan to do." The very next morning, Canadian County officer was parked between our house and Dawn's house. Jason walks outside, "Can we help you with anything?" He said, "We're just here to keep the peace. We're getting calls that somebody's threatening to shoot Dawn's dog." And Jason said, "It's not us. We're not calling. We haven't threatened to shoot anybody's dog." And the truth is, yes, the day before when all the incident took place, I probably said, "You need to put your dogs down," multiple times in front of the officer. The officer said, "If the dogs come on your property, you have the right to shoot to kill if they're harming you or you feel like you're going to be harmed." So yes, we did mention, you need to put your dogs down. That's what any moral person should do. If it would have been my dog attacking any one of my neighborhood's dogs, he would have been put down before we had a chance to call the law.
This was one of our officers that responded.
Officer Shorter.
Sergeant Shorter.
Okay.
And the nuts and bolts of it, that morning, we buried Linus. That afternoon, after we were already getting calls the officer coming over next day saying, he's saying that you're threatening to shoot his dog, we figured it out that, he's calling Canadian County. We're trying to settle this internally with Union City, and we just want something to be done, and, knowing that, he's capable of coming up with stories, which in his statement, there's a few more stories. He says, "I own 3 dogs," but then he says only one was responsible for the attack, and there's 3. According to the eyewitness, there were 3 that he was trying to help pull off of my dog. My request is that you guys review everything that I'm telling you and call the dogs what they are. I don't care what breed they are. I want them deemed as vicious animals, because the first thing that started this situation, these dogs are full grown. They came to Dawn's house full grown about 6 months ago. 4 full grown, 2 males, 2 females. I've watched him physically many times. I've had my daughter-in-law, my son, view him through our door, beating them with a pole, beating them with a 2x4, because the 3 pit bulls are attacking the youngest male pit. The 2 females and the male were attacking the youngest male. I tried to capture some of that on video. I got the tail end of him throwing his 2x4 away, checking on the one dog that got attacked by the 3 others. A week or 2 later, that dog is dead in his yard. He was attacked and killed. His own pack mate, they attacked and killed their own dog. So now they're down to 3 pit bulls left, which are the 3 that killed my dog. I've read the state ordinance after not getting anywhere with local and county, and I've reviewed our ordinance in Union City against the state ordinance. There's a few other definitions in the state ordinance that aren't mentioned in the Union City ordinance, such as dangerous dog, potentially dangerous dog, then there's vicious dog, and then there's wild animal. I believe that Dawn's 4 dogs, now 3, are wild animals. Potentially dangerous is when they've provoked and tried to attack a person. Dangerous is when they've provoked, attacked, and killed or bitten a person. Vicious is when they've done it more than once, and wild is when they can't be contained within the presence of their owner. And I've witnessed Don never being able to get his dogs under control multiple times. Even our eyewitness said he couldn't get them under control when he was attacking our dogs. With all that being said, all I want is for you guys to deem his 3 dogs dangerous, potentially dangerous, vicious, whatever we have to do to start this situation, because I'm going further than municipal with this situation, and it's gotta start here. And I've gotta have my community behind me so that I can take this further, because I'm not gonna live next door. He shares a fence line with our other neighbor, Terry. They have a 2-year-old that I have in the photos the day that the drag marks are out, from my yard to Don's yard. In the background is the 2-year-old in a diaper. They share a fence with those pit bulls, a fence. The kids need to get out and play. Every time I see the kids come outside now, my heart sinks. I panic because I'm traumatized from everything that we witnessed. I don't want to see that happen to our neighbors. I don't want it to be another case like we're seeing on Oklahoma City News right now with the 2-year-old that's been attacked and killed by their family's pet. I don't care what breed this now. He has a chance to be removed from the house. That's not my story, but it's similar enough that I think everybody should be paying attention, because the next thing that's gonna happen is, I've already met with Teresa, I met with Officer Shorter. They told me that Dawn's come up here and verbally said, only time my dogs might get out is if I check the mail. One more time is too many. That could be the neighbor, it could be another animal, and one more time is too many. Once was enough, and I feel like Linus took the abuse so that everybody else in the neighborhood could be safe. All I want is for them to be deemed vicious so that we can start our process of getting them out of our neighborhood. For the safety of everyone.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So we've already had a few discussions on what we need to do from here. He knows the legalities of it better than I do, so I'm gonna let him speak on this.
So, it's obviously my first meeting as your town attorney, and after you appointed me, I came out and got a copy of the ordinances, and then working my way through we've identified some things that need to be cleaned up. In this regard, it's not about the ordinances that you have, but it's the ones you don't. You do have ordinances that talk about consequences if a dog has been deemed to be dangerous or potentially dangerous, or vicious or potentially dangerous. What you don't have is, and what's missing is an ordinance that says how we get there, how we get to it being deemed. You don't have authority to do it, because you haven't given yourself authority to do it, and I would argue that you don't want that issue coming before you to be determined. You want it going before a judge, which is what everybody else out there does. It's a different kind of case, because your municipal judge typically deals with criminal cases, but they can deal with what I would call a civil administrative case. And the reason it's a civil administrative case is we think of our dogs as being so far more than just property. They're part of our family, but the law looks at the dog as being whose property. The ordinances that you've got on the books impose severe restrictions on the ability to maintain what you define, let's say, law defines as dangerous and or vicious dog. Those kinds of restrictions, if I told you that all of a sudden you cannot have your dog unless you met all these requirements, that would interfere with your ability to possess and use your property. We can't do that unilaterally without pursuing the 14th Amendment of the Constitution giving you due process, which is why most other communities have adopted an ordinance that provides that due process. Before that determination is made, there's not place for due process. You need procedural ordinance. The good news here is you already have the ordinances on the books that define what is a vicious dog. So we would not be adopting an ordinance that would retroactively try to apply definitions at a local level to a dog for something that occurred in the past before the ordinance was adopted. You've already got that on the books. What you're lacking is the procedural ordinance. And so I can bring you an ordinance for next month to adopt the process, which would likely look like something similar to what police will deal with in crimes that occur in their presence, which is citizen complaint. The citizen initiates a criminal charge. Well, this wouldn't be criminal, it would be administrative civil, but it would get it in front of the judge. So that the judge could then hear from them, could hear from any witnesses, could hear from
our judge or county?
Your judge.
Okay.
You could hear from them, could hear from any witnesses who witnessed it, could hear from the dog's owner, and then make a determination on whether or not the dog meets the ordinance criteria of being a vicious dog, which if he makes that determination, then the requirements of the ordinance would kick in. But long story short, you've got a whole bunch of requirements for dogs that have been deemed vicious, but you didn't adopt an ordinance. This is how they get deemed to be vicious. So that's what's missing, is the procedural piece. So I'll bring that to you next month, for your consideration, to see how you wanna do it. Talked with Dave a little bit about, there's different ways that communities do it, since you don't have a full-time dedicated ACO, animal control officer, you've got somebody who wears multiple hats. I think the process is probably look like what it does in some communities, smaller communities, which is citizen complaint. So in bigger communities that have dedicated ACOs, that's their full-time job, they make an administrative determination of appeal, which then can be appealed to the judge. That might be asking too much from somebody who wears multiple hats to have to do, when you can just as easily get it with a citizen complaint. And we can have all that taken care of next month, and then have a form ready for her to fill out, which I'll just steal from somebody else.
So because we already have the vicious dog and wild animal, we don't have to worry about any retro issues here.
Right.
Once you create this ordinance, it'll allow us to create a form for her to fill out, and she'll be able to backdate it from the date of the accident, and then move forward with putting that in front of our judge?
Yeah, it's just mechanical work.
Okay.
You've already got the substance in the ordinances, you just don't have a way to get it in front of the judge.
Okay.
And that's what we do.
Just
Just like you don't have a way to get it in front of you. You
Yeah.
could adopt an ordinance that says it comes before you. I would recommend getting it.
Can I ask other questions in related to
Absolutely.
dogs kind of outside of this particular situation? So we have, so would y'all able to write any citations at all, like animal at large or anything? Or no?
Based off of what we were told, it's basically their word against their word, and the officer is not present. So we can't issue any citations based off of what somebody else says. So take it as your neighbor's upset at you, they say, you know, your dog came over here and did this and this, and then I just come over to your house and write you a citation, that's.
And don't, it could be different because it's a human. So don't think I'm trying to put you on the spot, I'm just trying to ask questions and learn. So, not to take away from your story whatsoever, but I had the exact same issue. Neighbor's Great Dane eats my son's swallow off my front porch. Our situation was a little different because I had a long-term relationship with my neighbor, and we were able to work it out amongst ourselves, and there was money that exchanged hands to cover the cost of the dog, and we worked it out internally. So we didn't even call the police because we were both close in that sense.
Sure.
But then my son, a walk from the house, was bit by a dog. A very nice lady, her dog got out, chased my son down the street on a bicycle and bit him. You guys were able to go over and write them a citation without me being involved. Is that because it's a human?
Correct.
Okay,
And
okay.
there's physical evidence with.
With the bite marks, okay, which they did come over and photograph, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just not sure how physical evidence wouldn't override everything here. We have a dead dog with multiple lacerations in his throat, ripped out, and his face peeled off.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning on these guys to tell us what our options are.
What I meant by that is you have somebody who says that this directly happened to them.
Right, dog can't say that.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand.
And I'm a city prosecutor, for the city of Mills, from the judge up in Perry. That is often the most difficult aspects of these cases, and where, for criminal purposes, is the burden of proof is higher. It's proof beyond all reasonable doubt. When the attack occurs in front of the owner of the dog, and they are there, they're the only witness, it oftentimes puts the dog owner, the accused dog, in a bad position because they weren't there, and so you've only got one person who's there. It can be very frustrating for the other dog owner. But not having somebody witness the attack presents a huge issue, obviously for criminal purposes, and also for the civil side. Now, on the civil side, it's different.
That's a very good point, but I would
It's
like.
preponderance of the evidence, which is what is, here's all the evidence, here's the pictures, here's what people saw. The judge is not determining whether beyond a reasonable doubt the dog meets the standard. The judge is considering all the evidence and determining what is more likely than not. That's the simple way of saying preponderance of the evidence is 51% or more likelihood. And so it's a lower standard. And it's not a criminal case that they initiated, it's an administrative case. The way I like to put it is, they issue tickets against people, this is a case against the dog. Not against the owner of the dog.
And there's no statute of limitations here, that as long as we get this done next month.
Right, because truly this, and you think of statute of limitations in terms of a civil cause of action, a criminal charge. This is neither of those. This is what the courts would call sui generis. It's a due process case about the dog to determine if it meets criteria, because if it does, we're gonna impose requirements on the owner if he wants to maintain the dog within the town limits. But it won't result in the owner having to pay civil damages. They will have to go to district court and pursue a civil case. It's not a, owner's gonna have to pay criminal fines. That would be if the police have enough evidence where they can meet that standard of proof, the higher standard of proof. This is strictly about before we tell an owner that they either have to get rid of their dog or meet all these requirements of the ordinance, that they get an opportunity to be heard, and that there's a hearing before they have to comply with that ordinance. But they won't have to spend any money, even if the judge determines that's vicious, because they can simply get rid of the dogs. This is strictly about making a finding to then be able to say, if this finding is made, if you wanna keep those dogs in the city limits, here's the requirements you're gonna have to meet.
Can I mention one more thing that I forgot to say when I was thinking? Both female dogs have both had litters of puppies, so there's probably about 15 or maybe a dozen or 15 dogs there now.
What is our ordinance in regards to number of dogs?
You can have 3 adult dogs, puppies that are under the age of 6 months do not count. It's time to raise the litters and get rid of them. I will tell you, I have never seen these dogs. I haven't had any single calls until this day, until this happened. Have you ever seen the dogs?
We've never been called that.
Yeah, I've not. I don't know if they're just new, if he keeps them in the back.
I don't think
truly
anyone
don't
else,
know.
you guys live in my neighborhood, but.
No, we don't, and
All of
so,
our
until you
neighbors
said
have
don't
seen
put.
them
What,
multiple.
understand what I'm doubting.
I'll tell you right now,
You have to live there to
yeah,
see them.
I believe,
I firmly
as a
believe
neighbor, I firmly believe every word that you're saying, I just,
Me too.
you know, I'm
We wanna
gonna
make
ask
sure
her,
that's correct, too.
is there anything else, because if there is, if he has too many dogs outside of our ordinances, then that is something that we can,
Well,
We don't want to
address, but,
Yeah, we could implement it, but.
Yeah.
We have a record of, I had calls on a certain amount of time.
Yeah, so on the ordinance that's already existing, if they were already deemed vicious or what have you, it says the reporting requirements, and it mentions animals born of registered dogs. So if they were already registered, then they'd have to track them and do all the due process of, you know, they can't sell them, you have to go through your ordinance and read that, but, all dogs which are dangerous or potentially dangerous shall be registered by the owner within the town within 10 days of the effective date, and no dog which is deemed dangerous or potentially dangerous shall be registered by the town if these aren't complied with all the other red tape rules, I'm understanding. The birth of offspring of a registered dog which is dangerous or potentially dangerous has to be reported. So it's basically just a red tape that has to be followed if he decides that they're worth keeping, and he's obviously fought us this far, so he's gonna likely wanna obviously keep his dog. He had 2 litters of puppies, and now there's, you know, like I said,
There's-
a dozen or more.
our only option as a board, is waiting on this.
Creating a process to
Okay.
get it before the judge can make that determination.
Okay.
Step forward.
That's what it is.
That's a step forward.
It's a step you need, not because
Yeah.
they're issues.
No, we're.
It was a step we needed before that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and we're just gonna, like, we are constantly trying to fix these ordinances.
That's great.
And that's not unique to just our town, that's every small town there is. Most of these ordinances are very old, and they're constantly needing to be updated. That's one thing we're very excited about having him on board to help us
Almost
with
every
some of those
meeting, we
things.
find something that's.
I mean, and it's beyond frustrating
that's
in a
great.
numerous areas.
Yeah,
And a lot of times there's no one more frustrated than our police officers that are out there trying to enforce things with, and they feel like their hands are tied behind their back at times. But it's a fine line between, you know, I'm a very big proponent of small government and, you know, those types of things and, you know, having our Bill of Rights, but at the same time, you know, these are the guys that can help us enforce issues like this when we have someone that's not working as a good neighbor, but.
Well, that's why we brought it to you guys, to put it before you this way. We're not angry at the city for anything, we're just
Yeah.
trying to make change.
One thing I can say is if you see the dogs out, we need to be the first phone call.
You walk to know if they're out.
Oh, yeah, but
call
that helps document.
911.
Outside of his fence?
Yes.
Yeah,
My life would be in danger at that point, sir.
yeah. Don't say that. Anytime you see it, call.
True.
Yeah, but as soon as you see it, call 911 right then. Don't wait, do it right then. That way it's documented, they have to follow, you know, not that they have to follow. Once it's documented, like it allows them to have a track record of that, you know, that they've been called to that residence this number of times. It allows code enforcement to be aware of the issue. It kind of puts a number of things kind of in line, so.
If you have an animal on your property that is, and you feel in danger of your life.
Correct.
Whether they call 911 or you a firearm, you can dispatch that animal, am I correct? Correct.
If it's on your property, that's correct.
This happened to me less than a month ago from my neighbor.
Yeah. So, but we don't want you guys to have to, you know, do that, you know, that's what these guys are here for,
No,
you know?
that's
and-
why we're going through this process.
Yeah,
We would like
yeah.
to have them deemed vicious,
Yeah.
and he can decide whether he wants to keep them at that point.
Well,
I think most of us here will be a yes vote to add that ordinance.
our condolences to your animal.
Thank you.
I know they're fans.
I just wanna read this. I had a whole long puppy story, but I wanna give y'all that to share. Linus, best pet we've ever had. Miss him.
It's always the best.
Well, thank y'all.
Thank you.
And, appreciate y'all doing something to take action.
And if y'all ever decide to adopt a dog, please reach out to me.
That one's available right now.
I shoot him a text at a lost dog about once a week then.
We still have one dog at the house, and I think we're gonna keep it that way for a little while.
Scares me when she goes out to potty though, she's obviously tiny enough to go through a fence, she's
Do
a
you have
dork.
kids?
Oh, my goodness.
They're grown.
They're brown. Oh, you're so lucky.
What's
We're
up?
empty nesters with grandbabies.
That's what the dog replaced.
Yeah,
I've
that was
got
our next black child, yep.
I've got a 15-year-old daughter, and I came home the other night, and I had a big dog.
Yeah.
Guess where it came from?
Don't knock on my door.
I pay attention to the dogs that are up here for adoption. If I ever see one, we may, so.
We never rescued anything before we rescued him, we always bought
Breed
full breed
dogs.
dogs, and we've had bloodhounds and big dogs in the past, and we just found them online and a friend posted.
And also, if
them,
you can
and fell in
think
love
that-
with them.
Take a picture if you safely, if they're out there.
I do have a video of them.
Our neighbor Terry, we talked today before I came up here, 'cause I invited all the neighbors to come with us. And, Dale couldn't come and Terry couldn't come, but he did say if he has to sign a petition to put one together, nonetheless. He told me that he has built a pen in the back now, so it's about a 30 by 30 pen that they're in now.
That's bigger guy,
Yeah, and the puppies are born, and he's seen them, so.
at least they're in the pen.
He said they're in the pen now, he built them a pen back behind his.
Behind all that big.
So if they would need the dishes, that would be sufficient almost anyway, wouldn't it?
For one of the requirements, but there are multiple requirements.
He's supposed to have $50,000 worth of insurance per vicious animal.
Yeah, also, good.
I wanna reiterate what they said though, from my perspective as municipal judge. Occasionally, they'll be able to strike out a ticket for animals running at large,
If we see it.
if they see it. And of course, sometimes a person will come before the judge and be like, this is the first time it's happened, had no idea, trying to get leniency. The more of a paper trail, and that's part of where, even if you call and they roll out there and they can't find the dogs are back on the property, there's still a record dispatch log of them going out there, having pictures of them out. If there ever is a case in the future, is something the judge could take into account if they found them guilty, that we're trying to go easy on them for criminal fines, if they knew that this had been a repeated problem. That I know as a judge, I don't have a sense of humor about something that's been an ongoing problem as opposed to the first time something's been an issue.
My question comes from, I understand the officer not being able to write the citation. If they see the animal at large, can they then have the officer write a citation, and then they're the ones that appear in front of the judge?
So every municipality does this different. The officers have limitations that are statutory limitations on their ability to initiate charges for lower level crimes, which every crime that you have in your ordinances is what we call a misdemeanor. You can't charge things or create an ordinance that is a felony. There is a process where a citizen can initiate a complaint. State law says that it has to be verified before the judge, the court clerk, or an officer. Some cities, like where I'm city attorney, and it drives me crazy, you have to try to get this changed for years, but our old judge who was there for 60 years makes every citizen come in before them and tell them their story before they'll authorize a criminal charge. Where I'm prosecutor, the officers have a complaint form, the citizen signs the ticket, the officers attest to it below.
Which is what we,
and that
that's what we
initiates
did,
the
right?
charge.
Yeah.
They still have to allege enough to get to what the officers, a standard they know very well, which is probable cause. That's a threshold to get a case in court. There's sometimes they'll get called and somebody's telling them the story of once this person prosecuted, and the officer knows that there's nothing here to prosecute.
Correct, yeah.
And so everybody does it a little different.
The second part of my question is security footage and or a picture or video footage of that dog at large. If they have that video and that evidence is presented to the officers,
So
does that then allow that officer
So
to?
essentially, the officer at that point in time, they're performing more of what I call a ministerial function. If the citizen's wanting to initiate a criminal complaint against somebody, the officer has a role to play, but it's not them making a discretionary call whether or not to initiate a criminal case against a person. They're attesting to a signature on a complaint form or citation, but there's a difference. They can make the discretionary call when they see the crime. When they don't see it, even when somebody's got video, and we would love to have the video exception where an officer could do it. In fact, case in point, there's a new program that the state has where if they have cameras that spot you and you're tagged and it shows that it's not insured, then they can issue a criminal charge for no insurance. The reason they have to adopt that statute is because, but for that statute, video doesn't allow them to initiate a criminal case. That's why they adopted that statute. We don't get to take advantage of it, it's the state and the DA's council gets to. But all the officer can look at it all, and the officer could easily say, this meets probable cause, but I can't make that determination because I wasn't here, it didn't occur in my presence. It's gonna have to be the citizen who is the one that's actually initiating the charge.
Yeah, so we ran into this, I don't know, somewhere a long time ago. It was over traffic. Somebody driving fast or something, and one of our officers issued a citation, and the citizen themselves signed the ticket, and then the officer signed that review.
Yeah, I've had one initiated for a kid that about ran over one of my kids in my neighborhood, but then I had to come before the judge.
Yeah.
And then present both sides of it, and of course, what I wanted and what the judge gave was much lower, but it was a meet in the middle of the road thing where, at least I felt like, it worked out, but anyway, that's about all the options I have.
Okay.
Thanks again, and, it sounds like good forward progress on the amendment to your city ordinance, so.
Just know that if they do adopt it, you guys will then need to initiate something, and you'll have to come before the judge to tell your side of the story, and just prepare yourself for that.
That's fine.
These cases are, as you can imagine, often emotional cases, so.
Yeah, it's not a good place to be in to try to do this to your neighbor either. I mean, you know, it's, we get along with everyone out there, and we've only got one bad egg, so.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for coming up here and making us aware. And,
You're welcome.
you help us, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sorry that there was such a cost to it. It was something that I never even saw or thought of, you know.
Well, it's in front of you now, so y'all can do what you want with,
Thank you very much.
what your, advisor
On
said.
the second Monday of each month, and so it'll be on that agenda.
Okay,
Okay.
So,
thank you so much.
we'd love to see you here.
Yeah,
And
we may do that.
And the agenda's posted, what?
Well, we're following.
I'm sorry.
The
We saw
agenda-
last month.
Yeah,
on
the
video.
agenda's,
Sorry, you guys
posted
had to
48.
do that.
I've already worked it out with her.
Okay,
I'll
okay,
send her a
okay,
copy of the
okay.
agenda, and I'm
Did
gonna
you?
also send her, the response to that on the agenda, and then once I get
That was
it
a good
down
one.
in county, I'll let her know, and it'll be on the record for her.
Okay, there's all the reruns on it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
You want,
Sir?
Sure.
All right, let's move to 14A, 152 East Park Drive, property camera gas. You're up.
Okay, how are you tonight?
Good.
So, it's been a long, drawn out process, Mr. Liberton. We first started with the contract with him, and he, was wanting to make the revision on the water line. We've gone back and forth, we had the survey done, so we were at the point for the survey, and then that's when the water issue had come up, that they talked about at the last meeting. Since then, the listing has expired, thus the contract has expired, so there's nothing currently available on the property listing or that wise. So, I talked to Brian this evening, pretty much told him that if you're wanting to move forward, you need to put in another offer, but it's going to, no contingencies, nothing, it has to be straightforward, just a purchase. I sent him all the documentation that David sent me from the water, told him from our understanding that it was required for him to pay to put in the 6-inch line. The city would prefer to have the 8-inch line, and they would possibly pay the difference between the 6 and the 8. And so he was working out logistics on that. And I think it might have just been a little more than what Brian was ready for on doing. I did be off the phone with him this afternoon, and he had brought in a actual developer. So, and I know the developer, I worked with them for years before. He will get the ball right, he's done several developments in Yukon, Mustang, so I got off the phone with him literally right before I came here. They had looked at purchasing the entire plat except for approximately 300 to 400 feet off of 152 to leave that commercial. They would also look at proposing at, just doing an easement off of there next to Griggs' place to put a road that goes back into the development as well. That way we still have that frontage on 152 for commercial possibilities. They would actually go in and look at doing a study to get a lot of that out of the flood zone, which would also increase the value of even for the commercial side. Except this developer, he's done it. He knows exactly the steps. I mean, he was an engineer. I mean, he's kind of taken lead on this to go with it. I said, well, until we have something concrete to present to the city, we're still kind of stuck in the air. So, that being said, they would like to.
What did it cost us for the guys to come out and set the ends?
Survey? Actually, I hadn't seen either yet. They didn't really, they come out, set the corners for the.
So they set the corners on it, and so it was $1,500 for set the corners. It divided it out, into the 3 plots. So it divided it out to the 4 acres, and I've got it here. Actually, 4 copies for you guys. So, let me see that one. Okay, you guys share. This is the original survey.
Don't put that down there, Chad. You flip it around.
So that's the original survey that we came up with. The track 1 would be the remaining, track 2 is what he was looking to purchase, and then the track 3 for Griggs.
Track 3 would still go to Griggs?
Yes, yes.
Okay, then, what's for track, you're saying track 2 and what else?
So track 2 is what Brian was originally looking at
Correct,
purchasing,
yeah.
and he was gonna divide those into 4 lots.
Correct.
So now they would be very interested into taking it minus the track 3, taking it all the way from the north line down to 152. Yeah.
300 feet to the north.
So Griggs never did close on their property?
So our one with Liberton was contingent on, Griggs was contingent on Liberton. We were waiting for Liberton to finish up his side of it. I've got the track now for Griggs, for them to close on theirs. So we've got everything laid out for that.
So we're back to the drawing board, basically.
We will have to relist it, correct?
That's
So it
what I was
costs
getting
Yeah,
at.
so it has
we
the
have
five.
to do a whole new relist.
Yes. So my thought was, my thought is to go through, and like on page 2, where we have it divided up, we've already got the survey divided up into the 1 acre plot, up until the end of Park Drive. Do those individual lots, so that way if someone wanted to come in and purchase 1 lot, you're getting more maximum dollar for the city doing it this way versus a lump sum. But it also will fall back into water, sewer, being available. That's the biggest concern. And that's where I feel like the developer going in, he's already asking, I've sent him pictures of the plat where water and sewer are currently to tie into and how they can manage that.
So this is platted?
No, it is not. We were in the process of platting it, so we never got to the final plat.
So you talk about doing a subdivision,
Yes.
offering it where you could buy all or piece of chunks of.
Yes, yes, sir.
What is a normal piece of property for commercial? How deep does it usually go?
So, and that's where
Just 300 seems awful shallow to me.
So it's basically 100 yards, and I'm kind of, to help you guys with the visual of it, and I'm going off of maps of the current, or I'm sorry, the old, Highway 152. It stretches basically, where, the big awning is? It's basically to the north side of that awning. If you drew a line from there to Griggs' house, it would be from there to the front of the road. That's 100 yards.
So if you look on the front page, it'd be on the west line, property line, from the 10 there to 152 all the way back into there, that's 687 feet. So you can kind of guesstimate.
If you take,
So, I mean, this hole is 687, to give you kind of an idea. So from that pin to that pin is 687 feet.
yeah, it's gonna be half that, yeah.
Mhm.
That's what I have drawn up.
Just to kind of give you an idea, visual. On the developer side, they would like to do, homes, single-family homes, as well as they were looking into doing, senior living.
So, what was his name, the guy that did on, Russell, what was Russell's last name? That on the corner here? Jason. I don't think he owns it anymore now, but that's 300 feet from 152 to the edge of his property where Bank First's property line is. That's the distance of that.
So, I mean,
Depth or width?
Basically both, but his is a square lot, but ours would be longer, I can tell you exactly roughly, because they would leave us the entire frontage, right?
yes, and just
Okay.
a road, there, right along Briggs, just so you could have an access off of 152. But-
What's the zoning of the property right now?
Right now, it's, the city owns it, so it's currently not
Not
zoned,
zoned,
yeah.
okay, so-
So that was another contingency on
Part
it.
of it, there would need to be a roof.
The history there, it was, and we've argued some of this point. When I first came on the board, there was constant rhetoric or talk, or however you wanna word it, that businesses tried to move to our community and, different, people wanting to come here and start to build things, and no one would give any land offerings of any kind. And so there was a house on that property, at the time, we paid around $350,000. We paid $350,000 for that, what is it, 13 acres?
Right, yeah, right at 13.
There was 13 acres there, we paid $350,000 for the house there, and then we basically auctioned off the barn and the house and everything was on it, and then people came in and just basically removed what they wanted from it, and we bulldozed the remainder of it. Basically trying to create a clean slate there, that we would be able to have offerings for some front commercial property and then residential in the back. And so, we've been sitting on it now for, David should know, he knows it, 3 years? I don't know, 3 years?
Before five.
Five?
Before COVID.
Oh, okay, yeah, so we've been sitting on it now for 5 years, but we paid $350,000 for it as a whole. I mean, from my point of view, if we broke even on it and had new rooftops and a couple new businesses, it would be considered a win, but, that's kind of the history there.
You know how many acres that 300 foot is?
I can draw it up for you real
Yeah,
quick, it's gonna be an estimate, 'cause I don't have the property lines of the new.
Yeah, I don't, literally called me, because I told him, I said, I don't have anything solid.
Wanna be 7.13?
No.
No, that would be all of it. Or what, yeah, so that was my thought, if we would list it as 3 separate proper, or the commercial being that, and then that's when they said.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Being the property owner gives you a great deal of control of what's in there.
Mhm.
And the reason I asked about the zoning is, if it's currently unzoned, then as part of selling the
Yeah.
zoning district to it, you can also, as the owner of the property, initiate zoning
And the
dictate,
previous, we
essentially dictate what
did
kind of uses could go in
the
there.
offer contingent on final zoning of residential, is what, when we did
Right.
those lots, is what we just wrote it up off of. That way, it protects the city and it protects the buyer.
The other option is, as property owner, you can also impose covenants on the land that would then run with the land once you sell it. So, and forgive me for bringing up word here several times here, but that's what they did out there in 2006, 2007. They acquired these properties, attached covenants to the property, subdivided it, and sold it. One piece to Golden Corral, one to a hotel. They just adopted a hotel.
Sounds good to me.
It
Yeah.
now has,
Go for it.
it now has covenants
Right.
on the land that this is beyond just zoning, that it's restricted to tax generating activity.
This is a very rough dispute drawing, it's roughly gonna be 3 acres.
Yeah, but in the long term,
And now this is essential,
Yeah.
they paid
I'm
like
against
3.4
it.
million, sold it about 2.5 after that lots, and got 2 tax generating businesses in
Yeah.
there, and so even though it looked like a pretty eyebrow raising, questionable deal on its face, selling it at loss was selling it with the covenants attached to generate long-term revenue.
Right, and that's what our goal has been, I mean, it's been very frank, we need businesses and we need some additional rooftops for people to move into. It'll create a few extra, tax dollars for the school, it'll help get
public property, so it can only be disposed of for a public purpose. Public purpose can strictly be dollars, trying to maximize the return that they get on it. Alternatively, you do have the ability, I'm asking especially because I wanna make sure that if this is where we're going, that we pay document everything that needs to be documented. What would happen if you had two different bidders that were all different amounts?
Right.
If it's just about money, then you go for the highest bidder. If it's about more than money, it's about what is going to be put developed there.
But we as a board have an option to do either or, correct? I mean, it doesn't have to be, I mean, the conversation has been, and we've always tried to approach it that way, is to be very, fair in the offerings of, let's, allow multiple people to make an offer on it. But if we have one that comes along that makes sense and is easy to do business with, then we can make that decision, correct?
I'll use the for instance of, I come in and offer you $100,000 for the frontage that's gonna be commercial, and somebody else comes in and offers you 50 and you give it to them. Well, that looks pretty shady on its face.
Right.
Because you gave up 50. But if what I'm proposing is a car wash that's not gonna generate any tax revenue, it's gonna generate some water revenue, but no tax revenue. But the guy offering 50 is gonna put in, some sort of retail sales tax generating.
Right.
We need to document that that's why you went with the lower bidder, is because of what they're gonna put in there.
Right.
And what strings you have in there to make sure that you can enforce that that's what they're gonna actually develop. But you have to decide, is it just about trying to do something with it, just make as much money as we can, or is it about trying to?
I personally would be a no-go if it's all gonna be residential, but if they allow us 3 acres of frontage to use for commercial and the rest of that gets turned into residential, that makes complete and total sense for me.
And ultimately, what they're wanting to do is go in and do a flood engineering report and pull it all out of a flood. And so that would also benefit on the front end, because there's still a lot of flood right there, even on the commercial side of the front end.
You put more homes on it when they do that.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get your sewer and water line put over in that area where they can spread on that amongst the rest of that farm, right there.
So my thoughts were, just from a real estate standpoint for the city on that side of it, is we relist and we did it individually. That gives us options if someone wants to come in and buy 1 acre or 2 acre, and then ultimately the, developer would like to set up a meeting with the city sooner than later and come in and discuss with everyone their plans and what's going forward, and then possibly looking at, a lump sum for all of it. But in the meantime, it also offers it up for anyone else that would like to have a smaller portion.
Offerings where you can bid on smaller portions or combinations.
Yes, yeah. So you can get one, or you can say, I want these 2 lots for,
But, thing to keep in mind, I just want to go over here, if we do that, and somebody buys a 1 acre lot, they cancels the deal on a bigger deal.
Right.
Yeah, and that's where I'm not a fan. I would rather.
But that's where you wouldn't jump at the first offer, you would allow for a reasonable time period to receive all offers, whatever they may look like, and then consider them in totality.
And in the listing agreement with the city, the previous one, we said that they had to come before with the city with plans, and we had to have plenty of time for the city to look at it. So it wasn't one of those things that, it has to be done right then and there.
Does it make a difference from your perspective if the zoning is already done?
No.
Okay.
Because, not really, because if they decide to go in, like I said, on this side of it, they do residential, or they do multiple, residential.
Heavier dental.
Yeah, it's just gonna have to go through, it's kind of one of those things, let's do it, let's get everything done, and then zone it right prior to closing, is what
And the reason I was asking that is, if, for example, you didn't want dense multifamily residential, you want single family residential, then zone it that way.
Yeah.
To where they're not acquiring unzoned property and then having to come to you
Yeah.
to make a zoning decision, the decision's already been made.
Well, that's
So
why
if
I kind of kept
if
it
you want to
open.
do commercial,
Yeah.
then that would pretty well tell everybody, this is all we're gonna consider, because that's how it's done.
Yeah. And that's why it ran it all under commercial to begin with, to to see where it felt, because we wanted to have, that was our biggest dollars came in, would be, so that way they could decide if they wanted the full, or the front half or the back half.
Last question, from your perspective, does it make a difference in terms of timing, if you wanna segregate out that, the prime frontage for commercial? Does it make a difference on getting offers or getting better offers if the people know that the back half has already been sold and it's gonna be developed as residential?
For somebody knowing that there's already more coming in, that's gonna, of course, they're gonna have more traffic, you're gonna have, I mean, more people, more roofs, more dollars, I mean, it all trickles down.
Does it make some sense to potentially still take offers, but potentially
Yeah.
wait on the commercial portion to see what happens with the residential?
And I think mostly, on a commercial side, it's gonna take longer than, a normal 30 to 60 days on a residential development. I mean, it's, commercial side, you're doing an extensive, surveys, you're doing engineering, I mean, all types of things go into that. So from traffic to population to, everything will go into that on a commercial side of it, for the most part.
Just throwing this at you guys, the depth of the Sonic property in Tuttle is 92.8 yards, so right at 100 foot for the Sonic. The Taco Mayo is 52 yards, so 150.
What about Brom?
The new Brom?
Ain't got one, bro.
If Tuttle's just out getting the Broms, I don't know that we're ever gonna figure
Yeah.
on it.
You think about dinner tonight?
Yeah, I'm pretty hungry.
So do you wanna go ahead and just keep the 300 foot, and say we can get that out?
That's what I would
And
suggest.
leave the other just wide open, so that
Well,
you
let
can't
me
just
ask
sell
you
one
this,
extra.
look at the Dollar General in Minko, see how much area is there.
Okay, give me one second. And I have actual drawings.
Cause how do I get that commercial building built, 152?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
And that, I think, is what
Oh.
has hindered a lot of
As
it.
long as it's done by 2032, we'll.
I'm trying to pick things that are close by. The Williams grocery store in Tuttle has a massive front parking lot
Oh, yeah.
on that, and it's 169 yards, so it's, it's,
Well,
it's 450 feet, and that's a huge parking lot. So now you said Dollar General,
maybe less.
Minko.
The grocery store is not there, sir. I don't think it's a small town.
No,
For one, you don't get taxes on groceries anymore.
yeah.
When you come like
So,
you, Bob,
when we doing this as,
if you break it up, if somebody buys one or two, then it, and I don't see
Well,
somebody,
it
I don't
would
see
be
anybody
your-
doing that.
It would be your call whether or not to sell it. If you had an offer for everything, and have individual offers on a couple, then that individually might make more sense, but you're not, but you're still gonna be left with the remainder, which is likely to be the less desirable.
Right.
You still make the decision in the end, which offer to accept, offer or offers to accept.
But kind of our problem is the water, getting it there.
Yeah, that's gonna
And
be
I
the
don't
big,
think somebody's gonna wanna buy one.
One lot, that's what I've been hearing.
yeah.
Which economics will answer that question.
Yeah,
If
right.
somebody thinks they can make it work, then they'll make an offer.
The Dollar General in Minko is 85 yards, so less than 100 feet.
So it was big.
It was big. You could probably fit two of those in that.
I like the idea of it being another street.
I like the idea of there being an access street.
Street only one way in, park out.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I would want people to be able to leave out either direction, like, so you'd have an easement there.
If that's what was gonna happen,
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I agree with that.
All right.
But I'm just throwing this out there too. If you took that street and bumped it over a little bit to where cars could park all the way down the length of the baseball field, use that street and then pull in towards the ballpark and increase the parking,
We see it.
I don't know if that's,
The
we
street
should.
would be on the opposite side of the
Before
front
the
grid,
Oh, it'd be on Greenville
Yeah.
side? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay,
cause that way it would run the
Yeah.
length
yeah,
of the,
I see what you're saying, yeah.
All the way, far north,
yeah.
leave everybody west.
well, hey, so she is working for Union City, for us. Okay, everybody knows that, let's be clear on this. She's selling it for us. Every offer goes through Cameron, and she has presented us to the board, every offer.
Yeah.
Well, and you are a real estate,
Broker.
I mean, in this case,
Yeah.
you would be the agent
Yeah.
for the town. You are representing the town in this
Yeah.
regard. You'll make the ultimate decision. but-
Right, no, and that's what I always, that's the thing, just like in a regular real estate deal, you are the seller of your own home. I have a due diligence to you as my client. If I bring in the buyer, I have a due diligence, but they don't know how they, counteract.
So all the MLSs and all the Facebook posts, Cameron.
And, yeah, I'm at the bottom of all the
Verbally,
MLS, everything.
For everybody here's benefit, everybody watching online. If somebody calls Michelle, I wanna make an offer, what does she say?
Call me,
When they
call
call
Cameron.
Cameron and says, I wanna make an offer.
Call Cameron.
So everything runs through.
Well, what did they call it last week?
Well,
might tell them now.
It was an entertaining meeting, and I said yes,
Yeah, and I've talked to her.
just like it, because I like
Time she's
it was
still
a
on.
good show. Wanna make sure we're back to square one here. If you are interested in all or any piece of this property,
Mhm.
that's the only person that you talk to.
So-
Until it potentially comes here, there might be discussions that
Right.
you help facilitate,
Right,
but everything goes
absolutely.
through.
Okay, yeah. So my only thing would be to get the appropriate paperwork out for, do we want to divide it up into the 1 acre, like I did on page 2, and then just draw out for the commercial frontage? To get it,
I mean, I'd say so.
I mean, it will hinder, like I said, on the 1 acre spots for just an individual coming in because of the water.
Or do we wait, I mean, we settle on it this long, do we present it as one piece minus the frontage? And give
Eventually,
it
them
another 6
pins are
months?
gonna start adding up.
Huh?
Every time we get a survey.
Well, I mean,
We
we've
don't have to
already,
make this decision tonight, we can wait for them to come present, or do we have to?
Well, she's needing guidance for how to list them.
yes.
Whether this is
now, let me
one,
ask you this.
2, or
Have
So
we
that was
already,
for prices wising, so I can,
we already set pins for the 4.09, right?
yes,
Four quarters, right?
The 4 corners, okay.
yes, sir. So that's what, yeah,
So,
We're only setting pins to extend it
to the
to the
commercial.
south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, why not list it as the one large property, if that's what they're wanting?
Minus the frontage.
Do you do it as
Because, I mean,
contingent, because Carrie, you already.
well, and I have the different tracks, and now the different legals
Can I see
now
the
from
drawing
this,
real quick? Can I see
from
that?
that original.
Or do we have, never mind, I'm sorry. So,
Use Jimmy.
the new developer you're talking about, they're gonna be interested in some
No.
of this, or no? They still want that, okay,
No.
perfect, so that stays the exact same.
Yes, Griggs will
So
close
it'll
on
just
that.
be this and then further south,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Up to 300.
Yeah, 300.
So what would be the perk of adding the 1 acre tracts?
So that way, I mean, maximize your dollar.
Just allowing individuals to come in and buy 1 acre at a time.
1 acre individuals that are willing to come in and spend $200,000 on a water line.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's from, like I said, from speaking to the developer, that I was his banker for years, like, I know him, he knows what he's doing.
what portion of the property is absent new survey and floodplain change? What part would be less desirable if you could segregate it down?
Almost all of it,
Okay.
so,
There's a floodplain that runs
this
along
for
that.
all through here,
east side.
that's all it's like, it's
And
floodplain.
we knew going into this that we would have to, that would have to be
Just
moved.
for lining it up here.
Oh, yeah.
All of this, see, it's just,
Okay.
and it's,
And we knew going into this, there'd be a lot of dirt work to move that floodplain out of the way.
Okay, so if he were to purchase that section, are you saying that he would fix the floodplain on the commercial side also?
well, yeah, 'cause it's gonna all flow, 'cause you have to go in and adjust it. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because this is gonna be the ingress and egress.
Yes.
here. If somebody only wanted to offer for this portion and leave out the back half, do you wanna be left with that? I mean, that'd be the only thing I
Well,
could see,
you've
if
got,
somebody was going to piecemeal
no,
it.
you can do all, I mean, these would all have drives, that's Park Drive, so
Okay.
you have access there off of Park Drive. And then the commercial would be off of 152.
And that 1 acre that's
Great, it,
sold, it's entirely in it.
Right. The only thing I worry about is what happens if you don't get an offer on the whole,
Mm-hmm.
and you get piecemeal offers. Do you wanna get rid of it all, or are you okay with getting rid of it in chunks?
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, you're gonna get an offer that's gonna be the
Right.
best offer, because the capital spend to make these actually usable,
I would
it's gonna make
even
sense by buying individual lots.
suggest, let's do the commercial side of it, the 300 foot, do that list out of the commercial side of it, and then do the rest just a residential,
That's fine.
yeah,
That's
minus
fine.
three.
I mean, I know that we could probably make more of it cutting it up,
Mm-hmm,
but if the
Then
wrong
get another
person
water
bought
line.
one,
yeah,
it'd ruin it all.
Right in the middle.
yeah.
But
But I-
could you make more piecemeal up if there's gonna have to be a capital investment in it? That doesn't make sense if you only have home.
Yeah, 'cause like this one only has a very small sliver of it in the flood, a little bit more, so I mean, this would be your most desirable, and then so on. But then you have that 1.5 acre tract with a pond, a small pond, on it, so that, but again, it comes back down to water and sewer.
Very shallow pond, by the way.
It's a duck pond, around feed the ducks.
I put on some later.
I just wish on Parkside, to the pond.
So question,
Thank you for your services.
commercial
Yeah.
and full residential lot
Yes.
versus commercial and
Sub-
4 to
yeah,
5,
yes, sir.
that can still be built on collectively.
Mhm.
Bulk residential.
Correct. That's what I think.
That's what you need here more than anything, I can tell you that, it's houses.
And this would be starting with small
Because you can't
ponds.
have businesses if you don't have some houses.
So that's listed as bulk residential.
So 2 listings, commercial, and then 1 listing for the remainder of it.
And do you need another survey to do more pins to do that, or no?
No, cause I mean, I can go off of one and he can go back in and figure that in, is what it would be. So this is the survey right here, so he would just have to go in and we'd just have to tell him to, in the middle. Cause we haven't finalized the survey.
Do we need a motion for her to do that?
You're gonna need a motion
Okay.
for her to authorize her to relist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's expired, what you authorized before is expired.
I make a motion.
Well, we gotta go get new business.
Sorry.
Well, no,
We haven't
you've got
done
a potential discussion and possible action on the property. So this would be action.
It's 14A, next one. So I make a motion on 14A that we approve for, Camera Gap to relist the property, with the, northern 2/3 for commercial and the frontage for, northern 2/3 for residential, the southern third for commercial, 300 foot from the road. Is that what you want to do?
Southern, isn't it?
Yeah, he caught that.
Okay, I'm sorry, I
He was about to turn this whole thing on.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
let's move on.
Do you understand the motion? Do you need to get?
No, I need the very end, 300 foot, is that what you
Yeah,
said?
300 foot from
The southern 300 feet.
And here, you can have this one too, I'll give it to you too.
Oh, okay.
Thank
All right,
you.
motion and a second, all those in favor? Motion approved.
Who seconded?
Chad.
And then I'll just give
And
the.
sell digs.
Yes, we'll go ahead and, we'll finish up that survey, I'll have him finish on that, and they've given me earnest money, they're good, so we'll just get everything updated on that.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
All right, let's rip through the rest of this. Code enforcement. Code enforcement. Number 1. Number 8, Department of Union City Code Enforcement.
Report, went through a lot of it with the dog stuff and everything. We will be working with the love in regards to some of the things. The things that you need from me, please let me know. I would be glad that I can use them.
Yeah.
I can use all the help I can get.
Absolutely fine.
I'm ready.
Is that 2 months in a row for a burn permit for you?
What?
Did you get a burn permit 2 months in a row?
We're down there?
That's a lagoon.
Oh, it's a
That's a
lagoon, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I thought this was at your house or something.
No, no.
So what are you
I
doing?
get several.
Hey, people are cleaning up their yards though.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Oh, does it say me on it?
Yeah, because you're the one, it's issued under your name, but it's 300 bucks on it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
city
it's
property.
for the city
City
property.
property.
I probably burn it once a week or so right now.
They like, what are you burning at your house?
Bob, we need to back up. We didn't talk about price on 14A. Like how much for the residential side, how much for the commercial side?
80,000 acres.
How much is the partial side
Wait,
loan?
what's our baseline, or will we?
So I would,
500,000 on commercial.
We're not letting,
Can we not just take
Right, I
off
think
this one?
We're up there up north,
we don't
I
have
would
to.
list it with
south of us.
with a full
Right.
price.
How did we do it last time?
We had a full price for everything. So I can go in and subdivide it out, what we think, what's the price per acre we're gonna get for the 4 lots. Do that for the residential side of it. So do that price per acre for that, and then do the price per acre that we figure for the commercial, if that's,
Okay.
I mean,
So we give
So
a price and they
if-
say, hey, I'll pay this.
yeah.
if Griggs's is 1.10, I'm guesstimating the commercial being at a roughly 3 acres, that's gonna leave 9 acres
Yeah.
for the, just rough numbers, about 9 acres for the remainder.
We're getting how much an acre before?
10.
10 acres.
10 for these, Griggs was 8. Because of, I mean, Griggs is almost all in a flood zone. So you gotta look at that 1.51 acres, I mean, that's mostly all.
That basically puts you at $100,000 for all of it except the commercial. And then you're hoping to recruit the other $250K on the commercial side. I don't know if that,
Yeah, that would definitely, money-wise, I mean, would be about right on current market.
80,000 is what your corner sold for
Yeah.
last time, an acre.
Yeah.
I'm not a realtor or a adjuster, so don't look at me, I'm just throwing acreage numbers.
So
I don't have a clue what
$100,000
it's worth.
for the residential?
Huh?
100,000 for the residential? 125,000.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause she said 8 for Griggs, and then you're roughly 9 acres for the remainder, and those are rough numbers. You're-
Yeah. Yeah, Chad.
Huh?
Get in there.
125.
I mean, yeah, we can always bring in an offer, so, I mean.
So, that's what I'm thinking. Leave it up. So 125,000 for the residential. And 300 for the commercial.
More than that.
Should you raise it higher and let them, count?
Are we going to add to my existing motion? Since I made the first
It would
motion?
be, well, I mean, you can do it, or you've already voted on that motion, this would be a separate motion, actually, give her the amount.
Okay.
350?
I don't wanna price this out too much.
What is your recommendation,
I would say closer to the 300, 310.
and on the residential?
No, on the commercial
No, yeah,
side.
that's
Yeah, oh,
what you're
on the
recommending.
residential, yeah, I mean, I would say between 100 and 125 on that.
So let's put 125.
125.
And then your recommendation on the commercial was what again?
Between 300 and 310, 315 right in there. So I think
So
310.
315 on it.
125 and 350.
That's my motion.
You're making a motion. Okay, I will second that.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion approved.
All right, do we want to rezone it now, or do we want to wait?
Right, can't do that now.
Yeah, that's why I'm noticing, yeah.
I mean, is that what we're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think we go ahead and get it started for the,
It's
Yeah.
zoning exempt until it changes hands,
Yeah.
because it's city property right now.
Yeah.
Depending on, like, even on the residential side, if they wanted to come in, like, a senior community where it would be, something like that, it makes a difference in the type of residential.
all the way west.
Unless you guys want to specify now.
You may have a creative idea that you hadn't even thought of, that wouldn't be residential.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions for code enforcement? Nope. Okay. Day water and sewer franchise permit.
This is something that I'll have to get with him on, this.
Still table, okay.
Yep.
Fix it by the next meeting, whatever it is.
I'm telling you that, I'm just waiting on the lawyer.
Fix it by next meeting.
Okay.
I'll figure out what it is, and we'll see how many months I've read that.
I may be getting into the weeds. Do we need to add anything to motion that allows for that easement on the east side?
No, cause that would be, I mean, we would do that once we get the offer. 'Cause
Okay.
they would include that in the offer.
Okay.
Cause they're gonna need that. With the offer, they would need, since the city would still own the commercial side of it,
Okay.
that's who would need to grant the easement, would be the commercial, the city.
Shoot, I mean, I owe you an apology, I meant to get to this before we go. AB property violation, consideration possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, acceptance regarding property violations at 16410 Southwest 59.
I don't know if any of you guys have paid any attention to this piece of property or not the last several months. The property looks better than it's ever looked. Applaud you for continuing to work on it.
Need another 30?
Another 30 days.
Okay, I make a motion, we give this young man another 30 days.
I'll second that.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved.
One of
He
them.
wasn't listed.
Because it was a violation, don't speak.
Oh, okay.
Once again, I apologize for keeping you here this long.
Yeah.
You should have hollered at me.
And then commercial.
If I do that next time, you make sure you catch my attention.
So.
Actually, next time you come, bring us some meat. No.
Put me on the agenda for next time too.
Yeah, I will say at OEMA board meetings, they always feed me.
Yeah. HD, board adjustment. The following correspondence provided the board of trustees in regard to establishing a board of adjustment code of ordinances, page 124, chapter 2, section 10.2.1, for the review and information by the Solution City Code Enforcement Officer, Teresa Willerton. It is on the back of her report.
What's that?
Board of adjustment.
Yeah, I printed off, for her to put in the packet, what it says in our code book regarding the board of adjustment. Have I heard of it in the almost 22 years I've been here? Yes. Have we had a meeting in those 22 years with the board of adjustment? No. When I asked at one point who it consisted of,
Yeah.
it's told by former employees, they choose people in the community along with the mayor. Another one of those things needs to be.
Good.
And what, so explain,
Can you say all that again?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
not necessarily all that, I mean, yeah, whatever you need,
You
but
gotta have one.
I just wanna better understand what this board of adjustments is.
You've got a zoning ordinance that says, and I'll send you for it, there's an example. If you've ever gone down Northwest Highway at MacArthur, there's a new-ish, been a few years, but there's a 7-Eleven at the southwest corner. That property is not compliant with our zoning code because there's a whole bunch of ODOT right away that their landscaping's in, and so they couldn't meet our landscaping requirements because it doesn't count any landscaping into the right away, so somebody could come and take it. Main purpose of the BOA is grant variances, which would be the whole statutory criteria for it to be granted, but they are an appeals board that primarily their role is, we've got a zoning ordinance that the application to a particular piece of property wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's not really for you to make one-off exceptions to your laws, that's what a BOA is for, it's grant variances.
So this is a separate board?
Yeah.
How many people?
I thought the 80 would have been a good example.
5 people
If they would have pursued it, we would have had to call the meeting after the board of adjustment. If they would have pursued,
Building it, okay.
if that helps. And at some point that'll come
So,
up again.
I guess,
We need to be prepared.
and forgive me for my stupidity, the difference between the
So do we
planning
have to-
commission and board.
BOA considers one-off issues, the planning commission, when done properly, the planning commission are your experts when it comes to planning and zoning, that look at the more holistic, I mean, yeah, they'll deal with rezoning applications, but they're the ones who, if you are amending your zoning ordinances, you run through them first, make a review and recommendation, so they're more looking at the whole town, and in the future, they may get specific rezoning, applications, but they're more, even in considering those, they're looking at how it affects the entire community, whereas BOA is looking at particular property to see if application of the zoning laws make sense. And there's a statutory right here, it's not just.
And again, forgive me, so our planning commission is appointed by the board, correct?
They're appointed positions.
Yes.
But if we have, in the past, someone missing from the planning commission, I thought it was the planning commission that was approving who was gonna sit on that seat, is that right or wrong?
They're appointed amongst themselves. The mayor sits on there and officiates the meeting, and then it's a vote amongst.
Is that how most cities operate, or does the board choose each individual, or is it elected, or what do you see?
No, it's appointed by the governing body of the municipality, and these are statutory, it's not, Union City doesn't have one because Union City decided to have one. It's like statute, if you're gonna exercise planning and zoning powers, municipalities, you have to have planning commission, you have to have BOA.
Okay.
You've got the ordinances in place, it's just,
So,
I bet you
but-
at some point in time you had BOA members, and nobody remembers who they are.
But our planning commission has never, they're not elected,
No.
and I don't ever remember voting to
So,
approve anyone
do
here.
I have the ability to appoint whoever I want as a?
Has to get, the governing body has to approve.
It has to be one board of
When you say
trustees
governor
member, one
body-
planning commission member, and 3 members of the community.
Used to be that
Three
one by the
citizens
mayor.
For that board of adjustment.
Well, and we may want to amend that.
Wasn't that done before on something in town?
Huh?
Like, somebody, yeah, no, like, it was on something else, it was
Is
like.
Brad on the planning commission?
Is who?
Don Lance, is he on planning commission?
You've been excellent candidate.
We've never had one that I know of, we have a hard time finding enough people to sit on this.
That's why you're planning commission.
That's the problem.
I'm
I had to apply for.
Unless they're here to drive, there's nobody here.
I feel like, and I could be completely wrong, they could be doing everything completely by the rules, but
You're gonna want to see people in the community. That's fine. That's fine, with the exception, if it's a staff member that has a role to play in making final decisions, because one of the other roles of the DOA is, if they think we have applied our ordinances incorrectly, then they become the appellate body to hear an appeal from a application of an ordinance. So, if we say, sorry, you can't, we're not gonna give you building permits to build something that would not be consistent in that zoning district, the use would not be consistent, you're wrong, that is allowed in that zoning district, they appeal to the VOA to hear appeals of administrative decisions. So you wouldn't want it to be a staff member whose decision might be up on appeal.
So I couldn't do it?
And if you have a role to play in making those discretionary calls.
in other towns, like, I'm just gonna be honest, like, you've been a breath of fresh air, okay? When I go to planning commission meetings or some of these other things, it's ran even looser than what this has. In your other city attorney roles, do you attend those meetings as well? I know it would be billed for it,
If
but.
they want me to. So War Acres, the old city attorney, I pretty much took over his contract. Most city attorneys don't go to planning commission meetings, because people don't want to pay them to be there, and they don't have any final authority. I think my predecessor at War Acres, that was a way for him to get a little extra money, and so since he was doing it, they wanted me to go there.
Yeah, but I'm looking more from a compliance standpoint, like even if it was temporary for 6 months or 12 months or something, to make sure that
I would
we're.
say that depend on what's on the agenda.
Like with when we get to the comprehensive plan again, that I will beg you for your
Yeah.
help for, things like
There-
that.
We've got a planning commission meeting tomorrow at War Acres but for my contract, I wouldn't be there. It's gonna last 2 minutes. It's a merger, it's a lot merger, AutoZone bought multiple lots and they need to merge them into one lot so they can build a building on there, but it's not gonna cross over lot lines, because that's against our code. The meeting should last 2 minutes. Well, a few more because there's gonna be a public hearing, but conversely, there's something that somebody's trying to rezone that we're pretty sure we're gonna deny and that they're gonna sue us over, yeah, you're gonna probably want somebody involved from the get-go. BOA, I will tell you, if you think planning commissions are run loose, BOA is even looser, largely because they never meet. I've been a city attorney at War Acres 15 years, we've had 2 BOA meetings, to the point that sometimes we forget to reappoint the BOA members, and we find out they're dead. We had to appoint some BOA members because somebody had an appeal they needed to file to our BOA.
It is a procedure.
Yeah.
They're there in case you need them, but it's probably gonna need, I'd be shocked if you had, like I said, War Acres 10,000 population, we've had 2 meetings I can think of in the last 15 years.
And you have no meeting unless there's something in.
Unless there's something, there are no regular meetings of the BOA because they're an appellate body, they meet as needed.
Do they have to resign from their board of the bills?
Vice mayor is not eligible.
It is
Sorry.
a separate office within the municipal government, so if you're gonna have somebody holding more than one office, you can allow that, but it has to be allowed by ordinance. So you'd have to by ordinance say that person can serve on BOA and this other position. Otherwise, it's one or the other.
I had someone reach out, said they would offer to be on this board.
And off of the other board.
Was this? Well, who is it?
Hypothetically.
Jeff Galley.
Who?
Jeff Galley.
Yeah.
My suggestion would be, 5 seats. I would at least try to get 3 people in there. And then, that way you at least, if, God forbid, somebody came in tomorrow, apply for a variance, you would at least have a quorum of the board to do the meeting.
So we need to do some social media posts
So
for.
you got one for planning commission, one for the other, you just need one more person.
I would, honestly, I'm gonna recommend, and I'd already flagged this ordinance as one that I was gonna bring to you guys to amend, I'd recommend it be 5 independent people. Because there are decisions that you might make as a board that they would want to appeal to BOA, just like there are decisions staff might make that they would want to appeal to BOA. If they're the appellate body, how can somebody who made the decision be the one to hear the appeal?
Make a social media for it, asking people to volunteer for it.
And
Thank you,
Must
Chad.
be
and
resident
then
in
obviously,
the city.
can you, or do you need help, Michelle, getting a short description of what that role will entail? No?
No,
Okay.
I've already talked.
Maybe our realtor wants to do that.
No, I'm not in city
You
limits.
have to be a resident, you have to be a resident.
Bless your heart.
Wait a minute, you have any
You have to be-
property in
I would
city?
think
I mean, if you were intending to move to
She's a property owner.
Stay out of the gray areas, Bob.
Yeah, she does have one of those gray areas.
Don't pay attention, folks.
So do we have to go with the formula of one board member, one, planning commission member, and then
Until
three
it's changed,
citizens?
probably.
I agree that they should be independent from the board completely. I mean, I think it was appealing.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it in the ordinance.
I don't see anything in there.
So one
One member of the
board
board shall be appointed from the membership of the town planning commission, one member shall be appointed from the membership of the town board of trustees. That's gonna be the sentence I'm gonna recommend taking out.
Okay, so we can wait for that to be out and then do
Can't vote on
it,
two.
or do I need to go ahead?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, you can go ahead and post
Go
it,
ahead.
because whether or not that stays in or comes out, you've got empty positions that need to be filled.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
And it's not like you have to have one from this ward, one from this ward, those
Right.
are requirements.
So
of
all
cities.
5 members of this will serve for 2 years, or just
They're
the?
staggered the first time.
So, in theory, when you adopted the ordinance, there were 3-year terms and they had it staggered out so that they would have renewal dates. You have to figure out when that was, figure out what term we're actually in. Technically, once this was adopted, you had terms that were created. Or we just go ahead and treat it like it's starting anew and we identify as you're appointing them,
You remove
whether
the
they're
language.
a short
I
term
will
or
start
long term.
anew,
Yeah.
otherwise I'm gonna have to,
But-
I have a
we're gonna have
question.
to dig.
What
We're
happens
gonna have a
like
new biker gang.
on my planning commission, I have a gentleman that's been on there since 1997. It's a thankless job and nobody wants it. We meet maybe a couple of times a year. We just keep redoing it, same members. I've had a couple of different new ones come in as somebody would get off or move to a different board or something.
Who's been on there since the 90s?
Hey, Mary.
Well, and here's the thing, if somebody on the planning commission's ready to step away from the planning commission but still wants to be involved, this would be a good
Well,
opportunity
that
for
would
them
be-
to, hey, I'll resign as planning commission to move over to BOA.
But if you give him that opportunity, I mean, you gotta fill that seat.
Yeah, I mean, you're still gonna have
You
seats.
still have seats, but yeah, either way, we're gonna have empty seats.
In my social media invite, would I be out of line giving them an option to go 2-year or 3-year terms, letting them choose what,
Honestly, I would,
so it would stagger?
I wouldn't even complicate it with that, hey, we're needing to appoint members for the adjustment, here's some short information on it. If you're interested or want some more information, please reach out.
Okay.
All right.
Then when they reach out to me, do I need to tell them they're gonna need to choose how long?
I would say gauge their interest, because I mean, the thing is,
So send them to Matt Love?
if somebody is willing to do it, then hopefully they're willing to do it until you tell me not to do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
You may have a rare occasion where I'm getting ready to move the next couple of years, I couldn't commit to a full 3-year term. Well, as it turns out, we're gonna have just a partial term. But hopefully you're getting people who don't care about how long the term is, they just want to serve.
okay,
And that just becomes
perfect.
this body's job to figure out, okay, who's getting the short term and who's getting the long term.
Sure, all these small.
All right. John.
He's coming.
Number 9, Department of Union City Police.
And the man sat there.
You have the chief's report, some of the highlights from that report are gonna be Officer McKeel graduates the academy on Tuesday at 1. Myself, Lieutenant McCarty, Lieutenant Glosser, conducted in-service training for our quarterly firearms and our qualifications, that went really well. Already did the Christmas parade, shop and shop is this coming Saturday in the morning. And then, thank goodness Chief's back, December 11th. And to clarify your question from last month, sir, that transmission was not in warranty.
You followed up.
I thought we
Didn't
bought
have to ask.
these vehicles for the warranty.
Sorry?
I thought we bought these vehicles for the warranty.
It wasn't one of the Tahoes, it was Chief's truck.
His truck?
what, 3 years old now, 2 years?
Trustee invite for 2022.
I thought it was just an air conditioner problem on his truck.
Or maybe I'm thinking of the same car. One of the pickups. Yeah, so we just got chiefs back from Norwood for air, it was lieutenant's, pickup.
Okay. That makes more sense. All right, any questions? Verbal warnings were 95, written warnings were 106, citations were 161. That means you have a 44% chance of receiving a citation. Number 10, Department of Union City Fire.
Fourth that. Excuse me. Fairly, normal month, as you can see, on the calls. Did have 3 firefighters attend the 2-day large day electrification in Weatherford, which is very heavy. Let us know we needed a few extra things, for sure. Any questions on the report?
Nope. Why is there a tile behind your report?
If you get those next,
Okay.
excuse me. 10A still waiting on them to send us something.
Okay. So table 10A. 10B, surplus tanker, consideration possible approval of denial amendment revision acceptance of surplus of tanker 3, Baker Fire Department.
This is the tanker that the new tanker replaced several months ago.
How much was the new tanker?
510
600K.
or something.
I thought it was 600.
Well, I thought it was 650.
No, it was 5.
We were told.
I'll make that motion.
I mean, 600, I remember 600.
Does the old tanker still work?
It's got problems, but it's still decent.
Oh, that's what y'all always say, does it still
Yep.
work?
Depends on what you wanna say. Yeah.
Do you need it?
No, we surplused it. Remember we surplused it a couple months ago?
Yeah.
And we talked about finding an apartment that could use it, and that would really take care of it and use it. And Binger was the most interested. They came out, their chief, and they said it's by far better than anything they got. They can't even leave the station in a couple of theirs, and they don't have the money to fix the one that's decent, that's broken. This is the truck we got from forestry originally, so we didn't pay anything for it to start with. Now, obviously, we put a little in here and there, but we didn't buy it to start with. So the department talked about it and liked the idea of the way they're gonna treat it, and it's gonna be taken care of, and talked with, attorney about it, and, there's really no reason to put any stipulations on it, so to speak, other than, they'll come help us if we need it, so, which they do anyway, definitely. It'll be a big
motion, we surplus the tanker.
I'll second it.
So you've already surplused it, authorizing the chief
Binger,
to
yeah.
dispose of it with
Could be,
Binger.
yeah.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all those in favor? Aye. Move it out. Don't pick it up tomorrow when you drink.
Yes, we do. It's in my shop down there.
Number 11, Department of UC Emergency Management.
So yesterday, Saturday, tested the sirens, and the one out in the cemetery wasn't working. And, I went out there, didn't see any power anyway, looked at it, didn't see anything, so I went out there today, and apparently, somebody either climbed up there and took the wiring, or a big truck took it out. Either way, the wiring from the electric to it's not there. I didn't even pay attention to that part, you know, so, anyway, CK went out there in the morning and checked it out, so, other than that, everything was good.
We got all of our, that new siren, we bought.
Right, you didn't hit that with a lawnmower, did you?
Yeah, I hit it. Electric line.
Still waiting on bids to replace the one at 59th and, the Maple. So, don't have that.
It's coming.
Yeah, we're working on it.
All right. Department of Union City Animal Control.
Short report attached, isn't a whole lot to it, just, about normal for the shelter activity. One dog transferred to a rescue, which ended up in Illinois, pretty cool. 4 dogs picked up, returned to owners. one local adoption. Anybody know that one? Three different, my fault, his daughter went by and
I didn't name nothing.
three different dogs picked up for the month, and, when I wrote this, there was 4 at the shelter. 2's been adopted and 2 come back, so we still, but actually 3 shelter, correct, so, not normal.
Number 14, Department of Union City Clerk Treasurer.
You missed 13.
Listen, he needs to do his streets and alley, okay, get into
All right,
the
we're
spot.
increasing that.
No report. You got some bad somewhere. Really nothing to report, other than
Yeah, some of our employees have lots of hats.
Number 14, Clerk Treasurer.
Okay, so, what I want to draw your attention to on my report is gonna be under town treasurer, cash, forecasting, ACOM. I went through a panic. But, it came out much higher than what I thought. I was forecasting off of what happened last year. So I just wanted to make note that that is what we got to add to general fund. I noticed Keith paid attention to how much was in general fund when we announced it at the beginning. That is not what's sitting there now. Now that plus that is what is in general fund right now. Just
Yeah, this month
want you
was
to panic and think,
crazy,
general fund? That's one thing.
Well, the taxes are coming in regularly now.
That,
Yeah, that ain't gonna do that. But nothing to do with tax.
oh, no, 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 no.
Yeah, I know, I had to come down and buy something.
All right.
Oh, and also, to answer your question from last meeting, it's right there in the blue, the sales tax revenue is figured using 4.5% of sales for Union City, calculated in information from OK Tax Commission. You asked how that was figured the last
Yeah.
meeting. It's 4.5%.
Awesome.
14B, 2026 calendar. Anybody want to approve that? I make a motion we approve it.
I'm sorry, no, I was lost for where, you're on, oh, the 14B here, that's the calendar. Okay.
We're approving the events too, or what? Yeah.
Well, the event.
But Independence Day's on the 4th.
Yeah.
I did not, put dates on the events part for Halloween, the parade and all of that, because we may need to add that later. We may need to decide to have it a different day.
Bull crap, we wanna do that.
So July 3rd is when we'll have our fireworks.
No?
No,
So why does it say July 3rd?
July 3rd is federally when we're, or statewide when we're off for Independence.
4th of July is Saturday.
4th of July is on Saturday.
So we get the Friday.
Now, might go
State
state
of
and tell them July
Oklahoma
4th
and
is the
federal
Independence Day.
holidays.
That's July 4th, is July 4th.
Right.
Following state, what do you expect?
Ugh. Alright, I make a motion we approve the calendar.
I'll see.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Number 15, Department of Human Resources. No action.
No
Number
action.
16, Department of Union City Payroll.
Nothing
No
to
action.
report.
Number 17, Department of Union City Deputy Court Clerk.
There's nothing to report.
Is there a report?
You did turn in the report. No, I did not.
Oh, and the other,
Oh, Pam,
on the other one she did.
liar. I don't have a report.
Why?
You know what I thought the report was? That number thing, never mind.
You ought to have something for us. Well, stand up and just kind of give us a rundown of what's been going on.
Leave her alone, Bob.
I don't need to do that.
She loves public speaking.
That's her favorite.
She's doing way better than you were on the first night.
I like the layout of the new bills or invoices that we get in the mail.
The water bill?
Yeah.
You do like it or you don't?
I do.
I'd like it better if that scanner thing was on there.
Would you would come up here and help me with this?
It would be way wrong. Alright, number 18, no action, 18A, no action, 18B, no action. 19, Mayor and Trustees reports, shop, is
Saturday, 7 AM Saturday morning.
7
Be
AM
there by
Saturday.
6:45 AM.
I told Bob he didn't have to be there until 7:30.
That's
Too late.
It ain't too late, I just got signed a check and leave.
That's true, that's true. If you're gonna shop with the kids, you need you there.
30, that's pretty good.
31,
31, that's pretty good.
if they all show up.
Then you come get your picture taken with Santa at 9,
9 AM.
Christmas parties at what time?
5.
5 PM?
We'd love you guys to be there, you too.
Which day?
Saturday, ain't much notice, is it, but 5 PM Saturday?
I will be in Norman at swim meet, watching my daughter swim.
That's probably more
James,
entertaining.
you need to be on
I'll
Kick
be
with
in Norman
Santa,
swimming
you need to
against
be
your
at the
daughter.
fire station early.
Might beat you.
She will be.
You gotta be there at least 8:30.
Can you get costumes?
Yeah.
Santa?
Yeah.
Alright,
I'm getting belly to go with it too, so don't worry about it.
alright. Any more reports to get out from you guys?
Nope.
Alright. 20, new business, no action. 21, Ryan Dawson.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second that. All in favor?
Starting at 8:10 PM.
That says 8:12.
It lies.
That's a world clock.